Chapter 21. Fire Seeds Gone Mad. At the stone platform in the secret chamber, Ryan stared blankly, disbelief flickering across his face. Under his gaze, the flame's dancing rhythm had become steady and regular, which made working the bellows to refine a fire seed vastly easier. A flicker of excitement crossed his eyes. Hands working in concert, he refined with full focus. In a single minute, he successfully produced one bronze fire seed. Before this, each one had taken him a full 10 minutes. But now, his refining speed had multiplied tenfold. Wait, tenfold, his gaze sank. Could this speed bonus be correct? The host can refine fire seeds faster because of the system's acceleration function. Asterisk. The system chimed in, confirming his suspicion. What a function. I never imagined casting acceleration could speed up fire seed refining too. Ryan was a little shaken, but for him this was unalloyed good news. Reviving Sunward Town needed 1 million energy points. At 1 bronze fire seed a minute, the 1-month limit suddenly looked very doable. Using bronze fire seeds alone, he'd need 10,000, which, at his current speed and working without rest, would take a full week. The workload was still terrifying, but next to the 2 months and counting pace from before, it was a world better. With a direction in hand, his somewhat gloomy mood lightened considerably. He bent to the work, and 2 hours slipped by unnoticed, leaving him with over 100 bronze fire seeds. Bronze fire seed can be used to forge bronze grade gear and items, and can serve as a means of attack, dealing true damage. Attributes. Deals 2000 true damage to enemies in range at once, then attaches 100 burn damage per second to enemies within the fire zone for 30 seconds. Asterisk. As he refined more, the seed's full stats came clear. In theory, a single one's maximum damage was 5,000, on the harsh condition that the enemy stayed in the sea of fire for the full 30 seconds, step out of range, and the burn ended at once. The reason he'd one-shot the source of chaos earlier was mostly the terrifying damage from the chaos aura explosion, not the flame alone. 2 hours of refining had left him a touch mentally fatigued. The work demanded intense concentration, not a moment's slack, so after 2 hours he decisively set it down. Lad, looks like you've all but mastered the technique. Victor Fane glanced over and spoke up. More or less, though I can only manage about 2 hours before my mind starts to flag. Easily solved. Just mind raising your spirit attribute in the future, and these troubles sort themselves out. The spirit attribute. Ryan paused, then nodded in understanding. He'd nearly forgotten there was such a thing as spirit. In the game, players had 5 base attributes: strength, constitution, agility, intelligence, and spirit. The most mysterious of them was spirit. Even Ryan, reborn, had only a hazy grasp of it, because the attribute touched on every aspect of performance. One simple example. It raised mental resilience, reducing the hold of control skills, even granting outright immunity to crowd control. And that was just one of its uses. It held many more, unknown and waiting to be uncovered. Ryan left the chamber again and went to Sunward Tavern. I've gotten word. Nameless Slayer has already put people on digging up information about you in the real world. Violet frowned. If you need it, I can help hide your identity. Ryan frowned and nodded slowly. So Slaughter the World's apology was only skin deep. In that case, I'd best make some preparations of my own. Then if it's convenient tonight, come to the Violet Club in Dusk Cloud City. We'll talk in person, and bring your ID. Is there food? There has to be. Violet snorted a laugh. Her identity was being investigated, yet she saw not a trace of panic on Ryan. She'd never met anyone like him. They'd traded transfers before, so she knew his real-world identity well. Orphaned, leaning on his lone sister to survive, hauling bricks on a construction site for money before entering Heaven's Descent. Nothing remarkable about him at all. And yet, whether it was just her imagination, Violet always felt that this boy who looked no more than 18 or 19 carried a peculiar charisma, something she couldn't quite name. Done. I'll log off and head over now. Without dawdling, Ryan logged off on the spot, without so much as a goodbye. Violet was a little taken aback. The Violet Club was a high-end venue for the upper crust. Without standing, you weren't allowed inside. But before she could send Ryan the electronic invitation, he'd already logged off in a hurry, leaving a wry smile tugging at her lips. Such an impatient sort, she shook her head and logged off too. After exiting the game, Ryan came out to the living room, caught the burnt smell wafting from the kitchen, and frowned. Are you cooking up a culinary disaster in here? He stood in the kitchen doorway, the corner of his mouth twitching at the harried figure flailing about in the smoke-choked kitchen. I only wanted to make everyone a lavish dinner. I didn't expect. Rosalind hung her head, a smudge of black on her dainty nose, her small hands clutching the hem of her clothes, a sight too endearing not to laugh at. All right, no rush. You can't grow fat on one bite. There'll be plenty of time to study the art later, Ryan said. As for tonight's dinner, I've already got a place. Go call everyone down, and let's tidy up and head out. Head out where? The Violet Club. What? You're serious? Rosalind started, brows knitting. But the studio's funds. Don't worry, it's on me. Ryan smiled. It's the studio's first group dinner. We can't go cheap. Looking at the sunny warmth in his smile, Rosalind found herself, for a moment, lost in it. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 22, You've really cracked Daddy up. What are you standing there in a daze for? Ryan's romance-blind remark snapped Rosalind back to herself. She pouted, stamped a foot, and left the kitchen. Women really are strange creatures. Shaking his head, Ryan sat on the living room sofa. Once everyone had gathered, they piled out the door and drove for the Violet Club in Dusk Cloud City. He'd heard of the place in his last life, a haunt where the upper crust whiled away their leisure, where a single meal ran no less than 100,000 Azure coin. For the Ryan of back then, that was a year's wages hauling bricks. The Violet Club sat in the most prosperous district of Dusk Cloud City, its lavish architecture palpable even from afar. As night fell, the neon-lit nightlife was just beginning. Ryan parked and led everyone to the entrance, only to be stopped, before they'd even gone in, by a presentable waitress in a fitted suit jacket. I'm sorry, sir. Please present your membership card first, she said politely. That, I don't have one. A friend asked me to come. Ryan frowned. Then please present your invitation, the waitress smiled. That, I don't have one of those either. His face turned awkward. Since when did he need an invitation? Violet hadn't mentioned it. An electronic invitation works as well. You can have your friend send one now. That, I don't have her contact info. Ryan could have died on the spot. He regretted logging off in such a rush, racing here without getting the situation straight, and now he'd landed himself in this mess. Sir, this time even the good-natured waitress was at a loss. He kept insisting a friend had invited him, yet didn't even have the friend's contact. That hardly held up. Still, professional that she was, she kept her polite smile, though anyone could see it was now brimming with awkwardness. Could I, register for membership on the spot? Ryan scratched his head, asking a little sheepishly. Not checking the details beforehand was on him, but having brought everyone here, he couldn't very well just turn and leave. I'm sorry, sir. Membership requires an advance appointment, and today's quota is full. If you'd like, you may register now and apply tomorrow. His mouth twitched. Wasn't that overdoing it? Ryan, why don't we just go somewhere else? Seeing the air turn awkward, Rosalind spoke up. Roz, why are you mixing yourself up with this clueless oaf? If you want to go in, I can take you. Just then, a deliberately raised voice fell into everyone's ears. A man in a suit, tall and upright, approached with elegant strides, a faint smile at his lips. He swept Ryan a glance, then let his gaze settle on Rosalind. Edwin, what are you doing here? Tessa frowned, pulling Rosalind behind her and glaring at him. Ahem, a chance encounter, of course. I happen to have business here today. Edwin's eyes flickered. He cleared his throat, his tone weakening a notch. Tessa's background gave him pause. A chance encounter. Even you don't believe that, do you? Tessa sneered. I can't be bothered arguing with you. Roz, I have a membership card here, I can take you in. So saying, Edwin produced an antique bronze card and waved it before them, a smug look crossing his face. I'm sorry, sir, your card is a bronze membership card. It doesn't carry the privilege of bringing guests into the club. The waitress kept her professional smile as she pointed it out. The smile froze on Edwin's lips, his face sinking, and he shot the smiling waitress a vicious glare. PFF'd. Ha ha ha, I'm dying. This Edwin guy is too funny. Fei Qin doubled over laughing, her body shaking uncontrollably. Stop, stop, my jaw's about to fall off, this is hilarious. Ha ha ha. Rosalind and Tessa couldn't help laughing too, leaving only Serena and Lucy fighting it down, but their twitching faces gave them away to anyone watching. A flicker of genuine admiration crossed Ryan's eyes, and he gave the dark-faced Edwin a thumbs up. Brother, you're a real pal, stepping in just in time to bail me out, taking the pressure off so I don't have to keep stewing in the awkwardness. Truly, thank you. Ryan said it with a straight face. I don't have anything you'd think much of, but if you don't mind, I could gift you a black iron grade piece in Heaven's Descent to help you carve through your enemies in-game. How about it? Thank you my ass. Edwin's fury blazed, and he glared at Ryan. Don't get cocky, kid, just you wait. Ryan was speechless. He'd genuinely wanted to thank Edwin for the timely rescue from his awkward spot. Why was the man cursing at him? HMPH. I'll lay it out right here. Not one of you is getting into this club today. A membership card is something a kid like you couldn't earn in a whole lifetime of trying. Edwin spat the threat, tucked the card into his pocket, and walked inside. If you've got the guts, come on in, then. A penniless nobody, did you really think a toad like you could feast on Swan? You've really cracked Daddy up. Ryan's gaze sank, a flash of killing intent crossing his eyes. How about we make a little wager? You're fit to bet me. Edwin halted and turned, looking at Ryan with contempt. Don't be hasty. Hear the terms first. The corner of Ryan's mouth lifted, and he spoke unhurried. Simple. If I can get all of them into the club with me, you kneel down and kowtow an apology, and from now on, whenever you see me, you bark like a dog. If I lose, do with me as you please. Well, ha ha ha, I genuinely admire you. I've met people with water on the brain, but a brain as waterlogged as yours, this is a first. Edwin's gaze sank, a cruel arc curling his lips. He'd been looking for a chance to teach Ryan a real lesson, and now the man had leapt out and begged for it himself. It truly tickled him. Recalling the spectacle the kid had just made at the door, he had every reason to believe that being stabbed back then had simply knocked him stupid. Fine, I accept your wager. A vicious glint crossed Edwin's eyes. But the terms are yours, so when you lose, don't you dare regret it. I'll send those same words right back to you. The corner of Ryan's mouth curled. The farce quickly drew a ring of onlookers. Spectators never mind a bigger show, and with these, concerned citizens, fanning the flames, the wager incident outside the Violet Club was soon common knowledge. Maybe we should just forget it and go, worry flickered in Rosalind's eyes. To her, the bet was Ryan throwing an egg against a rock, and knowing Edwin's cruel, ruthless streak, once he won, he'd surely come down hard on Ryan. By then it would be far too late. Don't worry, I've got this well in hand. Ryan gave a low laugh, his eyes narrowing at Edwin, the corner of his mouth slowly lifting. The real show had only just begun. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 23, Violet Gold Member. Edwin's eyes flickered. He'd been fretting over the lack of a chance to move against Ryan, and now the man had delivered himself to the door. But what if you welch on it later, kid? Edwin asked, voice low. Don't worry, we can all bear witness. That's right, I just recorded a video. No shortage of proof. Yes, hurry up and start. A crowd had ringed them in, every face wearing the look of an eager spectator, some even egged things on, gesturing from the sidelines as if they were referees. Come on, then, let me see exactly how you get them in. Edwin folded his arms, lip curling, eyeing Ryan with contempt. He was already plotting how to humiliate Ryan further once he won the bet. As for Ryan, he merely gave a calm smile, turned the game ring on his finger, shut his eyes, and logged in. What's this supposed to be? Fleeing the field? I'd say the kid's eating this loss for sure. This is the Violet Club. It has a strict membership tier system. To bring this many people in, you need at least Diamond membership. Right, the Violet Club is famously exclusive. Even a basic bronze card is hard to come by, never mind Diamond. This kid's cooked. What if he really can get a Diamond card? Don't be absurd. If he had won, he'd have used it from the start. Why drag it out till now? He's not saying a word because he's riding a tiger and can't get off, he's looking to Welch. The onlookers murmured, not a soul favored Ryan. But to them, the spectacle was what mattered, nothing else concerned them. As long as the bet went on, there'd be a winner and a loser, so all they had to do was keep it going, and the show was guaranteed. Hey, hurry it up, quit stalling. Didn't you want to bet, kid? Why have you gone mute? Make good on your promise, we've got the video for proof. Hearing the crowd's urging, Rosalind and the others frowned, their eyes full of worry. Edwin was the opposite, lounging at ease, waiting patiently for Ryan. Today, I'll make you wish you were dead. His gaze sank, cold light flashing in his eyes. The urging rose all around, and just as the crowd began to lose its patience, Ryan, who had kept his eyes shut, suddenly opened them. He'd logged in to find Clear Rain Pavilion's people and had them contact Violet before logging back off. Steeled yourself yet, kid? Edwin smirked. You'd do better to worry about yourself. Ryan smiled and shook his head, his eyes full of pity. Miss, would you trouble yourself to notify the people upstairs? This, all right. The waitress frowned, then nodded, took out a walkie-talkie, and began contacting the department manager. A crowd massed at the club entrance was no good thing. By every measure, she had to report the situation. Understood, all right, got it. Because she wore an earpiece, no one could hear what was said on the other end. My apologies, Mr. Gunn. I gave offense earlier, please forgive me. The waitress walked over to Ryan, stiff with deference, full of apology. The manager has instructed me. You are an honored guest of our club, with the right to bring your friends inside. Here is your membership card, please take it. With that, she drew out a gold card carved with a purple floral pattern and handed it over. That's a Violet gold card. Damn, this kid was a wolf in sheep's clothing, a Violet gold member, no less. I've never once seen a Violet gold member in all of Dusk Cloud City. He doesn't even look that old. Could he be the young master of some great family? The crowd murmured, staring at Ryan in astonishment, unable to gather their wits. The reversal had blindsided every one of them. No, impossible. How could he be a Violet gold member? Absolutely impossible. Now it was Edwin's turn to come unglued, unable to sit still. He didn't believe Ryan was qualified to hold a Violet gold card, because as far as he knew, not a single person in all of Dusk Cloud City held one. It was the Violet Club's highest membership tier. Why should it be Ryan? Edwin had lost his reason now, trembling all over, finally jabbing a finger at the waitress and cursing through gritted teeth. Wretched woman. The two of you cooked this up to make a fool of me, didn't you? He's no Violet Gold member at all, because in all of Dusk Cloud City, there are no Violet Gold members. Sir, mind your words. Just then, a cold voice came from within the club, and a tall woman in a professional skirt suit stepped out, fixing her gaze on the bluster without substance. Edwin. I am the manager of the Violet Club, Dusk Cloud City. I now formally announce that he has become the Violet Club's first Violet Gold member in Dusk Cloud City. Edwin meant to say something, but the words seemed to lodge in his throat, refusing to come out no matter what. One more thing. The Violet Club strictly forbids anyone from using another's membership card. Upon verification, your bronze card belongs to the chairman of the Drake Group. You have no right to use it at all. The manager arched a brow, her tone mild. Add to that your deliberate disturbance on the premises, and per Article 28 of the club charter, I, on behalf of the Violet Club, hereby revoke the card in your hand. So, hand it over, quickly. No, you can't do this. Edwin panicked. He'd snuck the card out of the house while his father wasn't looking, precisely to humiliate Ryan, and now things had spiraled to this. If the Violet Club truly confiscated it and Drake Shaw later learned of it, there'd be no good end for him. To Drake Shaw, that card was not only a mark of status but a key to courting quality business partners. Lose it, and his father's enterprise would take a hit. At the thought, Edwin gritted his teeth, turned, and ran. While the Green Hills remain, there'll be no want for firewood. Asterisk. Everyone, stop him, don't let the kid get away. HMPH, can't take a loss. Let's all pitch in and pin him down. No talent, but all that posturing. The membership card wasn't even his own. Made me lose a 500 bet with a friend just now, it's all your fault. Edwin's flight set off the whole crowd. The onlookers blocked his path of their own accord and forced him back. Running because you lost. Ryan's gaze sank, his tone flat. Or do you mean to Welch? An invisible pressure radiated from him and bore down on Edwin, until the man's legs went weak and he dropped to his knees with a thud. A word of advice. Keep those crooked little schemes to yourself in the future, or I won't let you off so lightly. Ryan curled his lip in disdain. Paying the trembling Edwin no further mind, he led the others into the club. He hadn't forgotten. Tonight was the studio's first group dinner, and everyone was still hungry. He wasn't about to keep their stomachs waiting for the sake of one Edwin Shaw. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 24. Grind, grind, grind. Grind, grind, grind. The manager left the rest to the waitress at the door and led Ryan's group inside, up to a luxurious suite on the club's 6th floor. The Violet Club had 7 floors. By membership tier, bronze, silver, gold, diamond, and violet gold members could take their leisure on floors 1 through 6 respectively. The 7th floor was off limits to all, unless invited by someone from the club. Look over the menu and order whatever you'd like. I'll step out and be right back. Leaving Rosalind and the others in the lavish 6th floor room, Ryan followed the manager to a purple chamber on the 7th floor, faintly scented with flowers. Miss Violet, I've brought Mr. Gunn. You may go. A screen flickered to life on the wall, and a woman veiled in pale purple appeared on it, none other than Violet. The manager withdrew, leaving only Ryan, leaning back on the sofa, regarding Violet on the screen. Does my appearance really warrant that look of surprise? Violet teased. I'm just curious. About what? Your reach. Ryan frowned. This club is far more mysterious than I imagined. But we're friends, aren't we? You're right, we're friends. So there's no need to worry. I own this club. If you have needs, we can help you a great deal. Then I'll thank you in advance. As is only right. Still, let me remind you, even if I've hidden your identity this time, there are no walls that don't let the wind through. With Nameless Slayer's methods, you'd best stay cautious. Ryan's gaze sank, and he nodded slowly. It seemed this slaughter the world business needed settling soon. It was late by the time he got back to the studio. Ryan showered, lay back in bed, and logged in again. Violet's words kept circling in his mind. Nameless Slayer couldn't pin down his real-world identity in the short term, but given time, it would surface, and then, true to his style, the man would choose to pull the problem out by the roots and kill him outright. What Ryan could do was raise his hard strength as much as possible before the crisis came, so he couldn't be ambushed. And the fastest way to grow stronger, for him, came down to one word: grind. Through attribute plunder, he could keep drawing attribute points off monsters, keep at it long enough, and one day his panel would reach a truly terrifying level. He'd already achieved attribute sync, so any rise in his in-game stats meant a rise in his real-world strength too. More and more players were hitting level 10 and leaving the starter villages, but with the ambidexterity talent in hand, Ryan was in no rush. He'd already secured the talent he most wanted in the early game, now he need only do his quests in good order and go with the flow. With his rich experience from his last life, he wasn't the least worried about being left behind by the top-tier players, because in his eyes, whenever he chose to, he could leave those so-called top-tier players far in his dust. Under cover of night, he came to the shore of Gentle Breeze Lake. A bright moon hung overhead, its light mirrored shimmering on the rippling water. The monster that spawned here was the stony shell turtle, one of the few early-game creatures with a spirit attribute. He'd chosen this spot partly to raise his base stats, partly to plunder spirit and speed up his bronze fire seed refining. Heaven's Descent was still in its infancy, its functions not yet fully open. In time, the currency exchange system would launch, the time ratio would shift to twice the real world's, and virtual sync would gradually open, and then a wave of powerful players would surge forth, ushering Heaven's Descent into a flourishing, transcendent age. For now, everyone was still feeling their way through the early days, and at this moment, Ryan, sitting on a fortune of last life experience, was nothing short of a bug. Add the system's mighty support, and he could leave ordinary players in the dust with ease. Through the night, he killed stonyshell turtles without pause, his stats climbing slowly. System. Ding. Plunder successful. Spirit +1. Asterisk. System. Ding. Plunder successful. Constitution +1. Asterisk. System. Ding. Plunder successful. You obtained the skill, Turtle Shell. Asterisk. Turtle Shell. Active skill. On cast, defense +100% for 3 seconds. Cooldown. 5 minutes. Asterisk. A 100% defense boost. Short-lived, but a fine life-saving skill. A whole sleepless night of mad grinding pushed his stats up another notch. Name. Big Gun. Level. 10. HP. 3,500 3,500. Stamina. 2,300 2,300. Attack. 330 +70. Defense. 330 +70. With 3,500 HP and attack and defense both around 400, said among the crowd he was an outright humanoid boss. As the sky brightened, Ryan packed up and turned back toward Sunward Town. The night's fighting had dropped no shortage of gear off the turtles, all of which he mailed to Violet, and his bank balance rose by another 2 million. But a night of high-intensity combat had left him a little weary. "Young man, you're not looking too well." Victor Fane, rosy-faced and smiling, watched him. With the elixir taken, his illness had wholly vanished. He looked decades younger than before, his once withered gray hair now full of vivid luster. "A bit of rest and I'll be fine. Youth really is a fine thing." A flicker of envy crossed Fane's face. "An old bag of bones like me, 10,000 years lived, doesn't have your kind of drive anymore. You've helped me no end these past days, and you suit my taste, so, you're in luck, lad." He smiled mysteriously, and the cane in his hand suddenly flared with light, slowly transforming into a massive iron hammer wreathed in thunder. Boom! A violent ripple of energy erupted from the thunder hammer, a bolt of lightning piercing Ryan's brow in an instant. A sharp, splitting pain shot through his mind, and paired with the exhaustion of a night's battle, it dropped him into a faint. System. Ding. Congratulations, you have obtained the power of inheritance and successfully advanced into the hidden class, Mystic Spirit Disciple. Asterisk. ### Mystic Spirit Disciple. System. Ding. Congratulations, you have obtained the power of inheritance and successfully advanced into the hidden class, Mystic Spirit Disciple. HP +500, Stamina +500, Base Attributes +50, Luck +5, Charm +5. Asterisk. System. Ding. Congratulations, you have mastered the Mystic Spirit Forging art. Asterisk. A gentle light enveloped Ryan, and under its aid the unconscious youth slowly came to. "Well, my gift to you, not bad, is it?" Thunder hammer in hand, Fane smiled at the recovering Ryan. The Mystic Spirit Gate is an ancient sect of the continent of Heaven's Descent. Its disciples master all manner of supreme mystic spirit arts, and it chooses its people with brutal rigor, a super sect where geniuses gather like clouds. And you, now, have successfully joined the Mystic Spirit Gate as a Mystic Spirit Disciple. Ryan had caught wind of this ancient super sect in his last life. It was both mysterious and extraordinarily powerful, though when the great upheaval came, it had chosen to stand apart and stay out of the melee, so his memory held little of it. But the Mystic Spirit Medicine King was a second-generation disciple of the Gate, his divine alchemy raising his name to dizzying heights in the Heaven Mystic Empire. Even the Heaven Mystic Sovereign had to yield him 3 measures of courtesy. That alone showed just how mighty the Medicine King's reach was. The Heaven Mystic Empire lay in the southeast of the 9 provinces domain on the continent of Heaven's Descent. One of the 9 provinces, 10 great empires, with 3 Tier 1 main cities, 12 Tier 2 main cities, and over 100 Tier 3 main cities under it, a nation of formidable power. And Sunward Town, where Ryan stood, was a subordinate township of Dragon Blood City, one of those 100+ Tier 3 main cities. You've taken my inheritance and learned the Mystic Spirit Forging art. Later, when you venture into the Empire and meet my junior brother, give him the letter of introduction I gave you, and you can receive the inheritance of the Mystic Spirit Alchemy art. Fane stroked his beard and smiled. This is the Mystic Spirit Token. It will make matters far easier for you within the Empire. He drew from his robe a token glowing azure, engraved with the words Mystic Spirit, the characters dazzling as the light shifted across them. Mystic Spirit Token. A mark of Mystic Spirit Disciple status, granting honored standing within the Empire. Charm plus 10, 50% discount at Imperial shops. Asterisk. Good stuff. Ryan stowed the token, excitement flickering in his eyes. With this, plus his reputation now past 20,000, opening a shop directly in a Tier 3 main city shouldn't be a problem, saving him a great deal of quest time. By his earlier plans, opening his own shop in a Tier 3 main city required at least level 20, with the Mystic Spirit token, he needn't wait that long at all. Won't you call me teacher, little one? Teacher. Ha ha ha, who'd have thought? I, Victor Fane, taking a disciple. Those old codgers would be stunned to hear it. Fane laughed heartily and clapped Ryan's shoulder. Remember, our Mystic Spirit Gate may be few in number, but we're not to be trifled with. If you ever meet trouble, use the Mystic Spirit Token's comm function. It will automatically contact the nearest gate member to help you. So out in the world, never be afraid. Ryan nodded. One more thing. Cultivate diligently. As a Mystic Spirit Gate disciple, you need solid, hardcore skill, so don't you dare let the Mystic Spirit forging art I've passed you go to waste. Ryan nodded his agreement, as if he would. This was one of his key channels for making money down the road. He'd never let it lapse. Mystic Spirit Forging Art. An inherited art of the Mystic Spirit Gate, possessing the power to wrest the workings of heaven and earth. Items forged with it can be developed and utilized to a far greater degree. Asterisk. This skill rivaled the Medicine King's Mystic Spirit Alchemy art. He hadn't tested it yet, but he could already foresee that weapons and gear made with the Mystic Spirit Forging art would have explosive stats. All right. I've spent 10,000 years in this godforsaken place. It's high time I went out and stretched my legs. The mountains are high and the river's long. We'll meet again. Swish. With that, Fane stowed his thunder hammer, his form blurring and dissolving into the world. Quest complete, and at last I don't have to stay here any longer. Ryan sighed in reflection. In this time, the top-tier players had reached level 10, entered the Tier 3 main cities, completed their first class change, and seen their stats rise considerably. Big gun. Push hard, everyone. Once you're level 10, I'll see you in Dragonblood City. He left the message in the group chat and went to Sunward Town's central plaza, where the teleport array was now active. Every player at level 10 could use it to teleport to a Tier 3 main city of their choosing, within the Heaven Mystic Empire's bounds, that is. Worth noting, teleporting to the Tier 3 city or starter village belonged to was free, but traveling to any other cost game currency scaled to the distance. System. Ding. Travel to Dragonblood City. Asterisk. Yes. Asterisk. System. Ding. Teleport selected. Countdown. 10, 9, 8. As the countdown ended, Ryan's vision blurred. A fierce gale wrapped him, and after a dizzying spin, he found himself standing in a city built mainly of gold-red architecture. System. Ding. Teleport successful. You have arrived at Dragonblood City. Asterisk. He looked around. A faint air of majesty wreathed the antique gold-red buildings, striking the heart. Fragments of memory reassembled themselves, and Ryan's eyes grew unexpectedly damp. In his last life, his fate had begun to be rewritten in Dragonblood City. He hadn't expected to arrive here so early this time. Emotion welled in him. The familiar buildings, the familiar air, only that the Dragonblood City he'd last seen ravaged and ruined still stood tall and unbroken. I may live a second life, but the dragon god's essence blood will still be mine. His gaze sank, an unprecedented resolve flashing in his eyes, his hands clenching tight. He could hardly wait. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 25, The Class Change Plaza. Reaching level 10 and entering a Tier 3 main city meant a player had formally left the novice phase and begun their otherworldly adventure on the continent of Heaven's descent in earnest. Worth noting, after level 10, every 5 levels brought new dungeons to challenge. Inside, monsters were stronger than in the field, but in exchange, gear and item drop rates were steadier, and clearing 1 earned dungeon points to exchange for powerful dungeon gear. By clear difficulty, dungeons split into 5 tiers: normal, elite, hero, king, and hell. The harder the dungeon, the richer the rewards. Different main cities had different dungeons, designed around each city's backdrop, so players could travel to different cities for different dungeon experiences and distinctive gear. For now, though, everyone was still feeling things out. Even normal difficulty clear rates were low, never mind higher tiers. As a mark of strength, dungeon clear record leaderboards signified a guild's power, so barring surprises, in these next few days the guilds of every main city would go wild over those records. Ryan didn't rush to take Dragon Blood City's hidden quest. First he went to the warehouse keeper to open his private storage, and spent a heap of gold expanding his bag from 20 slots to 100. For him, a large enough bag was essential. With his luck now past 60, his drop rate was downright unreasonable, and too few slots would leave him miserable. Mailing items cost gold, after all, mail everything constantly, and the daily total would be staggering. Of course, 100 slots still didn't meet his needs, but for now it was his ceiling. Expanding further took more than gold, he'd need to gather special materials. So it would have to do for the time being. Notably, Fane's Mystic Spirit token really was handy, saving him half the bag expansion fee. Bag upgraded, Ryan jogged toward the class change plaza to try his luck and see if he could pick up some potent classes. As an exceedingly rare non-combat player across the whole game, he enjoyed the system's favor, 6 job slots in all. With only the one Mystic Spirit Disciple class so far, he could still take 5 more non-combat classes. But he held himself to a strict standard. Having decided to walk the elite road, he'd make sure every class he took was formidable. The Class Change Plaza was a class change hall south of the Dragon God statue in Dragon Blood City's central plaza. Inside, like a job fair, stood densely packed little stalls, each with a placard listing the classes on offer and a brief description. Spear Warrior. Wields a spear, swift, fierce attacks, suited to ambush combat. Requirement. Physical combat class. Shield Knight. Shield in hand, go where you please, astonishing defensive damage reduction. Requirement. Physical combat class. Fire Mage. Specializes in fire magic, explosive attack power. Requirement. Magic combat class. Summoner. Masters summoning arts, can summon contract beasts to fight. Requirement. Magic combat class. So this was the Class Change Plaza, a great many classes to choose from, each with its own requirements. Class faction was only one factor. To take a more specialized class, you had to pass certain assessments. At the low end, that might mean meeting some attribute threshold. At the high end, attributes were merely the entry test, and a whole series of assessment quests followed before the change completed. So claiming a powerful class, or a hidden one, took more than luck alone. You needed exceptional strength to match. Only with both could you stand a chance at a class stronger than the ordinary fare. Otherwise, you'd be stuck advancing into a plain warrior, mage, or assassin with no real class identity, which would put you at a sizable early game disadvantage against players with distinctive classes. That was why, on hitting level 10, many players' first move wasn't to rush a change, but to spend real thought picking a class that fit their attributes and suited them well. Of course, Ryan viewed the matter through a reborn man's eyes, paired with his own experience. What other players thought was none of his concern. Still, the Class Change Plaza was quite lively. A Tier 3 main city governed at least 10 surrounding starter villages, so the number of level 10 players now reaching Dragon Blood City was considerable. In Dragon Blood City alone, over 2,000 had hit level 10, and those in the Class Change Plaza made up at least half of them. They wandered like headless flies, dazzled by the countless options. For ordinary players, that is. For a life class player, like Ryan, limited to non-combat classes, the choices were vanishingly few. He'd looked over at least 20 class stalls, and without exception, not one suited him. Class changing really is hard labor. Ryan smiled wryly and glanced around, his head aching at the wide swath of stalls he had yet to check. Going through them one by one would eat half a day, a serious drag on his pace. "Hello, sir. Is there anything I can help you with?" Just as he stewed, anxious and uncertain, a gentle voice sounded behind him. He turned, and found a girl in gold-red armor standing gracefully before him, her gaze fixed on him with curiosity. Lillian Owen. Dragon Blood Warrior, second daughter of the Dragon Blood City Lord. No small strength. Currently overseer of the Class Change Plaza. Level 35. Lillian Owen. Ryan was startled, his brows snapping together. An NPC this important? How could she appear here, at this point in time? Was it because of his sky-high luck? Or his charm? Sir. Lillian waved a hand before his face, full of curiosity. I'm the overseer here. Is there anything I can help you with? A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 26, The Frenzied Class Change Mentors. Lillian Owen was one of the key figures for obtaining the Dragon God's essence blood in Dragon Blood City. Ryan had been turning over how to get connected to her, and now here she stood, fresh and lively, right before him. It caught him off guard. Could this be the power of charm? If so, then charm was easily the attribute he'd most underestimated. Recovering himself, Ryan let a natural smile touch his lips. I have run into a bit of trouble, actually. I'm looking for some life classes, but I've searched a long while with no luck at all. Oh, I see. Lillian nodded her little head in understanding and beckoned him. I know a few good life class stalls. Come take a look with me. Ryan brightened. I'd be very grateful. I'm the overseer here. Helping everyone is my duty. By the way, my name is Lillian. And you? She fixed her big eyes on him, blinking, as if his face held some marvelous magic. Hello, Lillian. I'm Big Gun. You can just call me Gun. Gun. What a strange name. It works well enough. Ryan gave a little chuckle. Oh, you're with the Mystic Spirit Gate. That's right. Wonderful. Come with me. There happens to be a Mystic Spirit Gate senior here today taking disciples. Let's go have a look. With a soft laugh, Lillian actually took Ryan's large hand and trotted off toward a corner. This is Lillian. Ryan was a little stunned. In his last life, when he'd met her, she'd been a decisive, battle-hardened dragon blood warrior, not a trace of the girlishness she showed now. Have I gone about this the wrong way? It made no sense. As he frowned over it, Lillian had already pulled him to a corner of the plaza. Compared to the bustling center, it was strikingly quiet, just a few scattered stalls and almost no foot traffic. Ryan's gaze locked at once on a stall deepest in the corner. That aura, it was much like what he'd felt from Victor Fane. Pinned by Ryan's stare, the goateed old man dozing in the stall gave a soft start and looked up, his somewhat cloudy eyes suddenly sharpening, then brightening. Swish. A gust of wind, and the stooped old man stood before Ryan, sizing him up while stroking his beard with a withered hand, now nodding, now shaking his head. Senior Lowe, what do you think of the candidate I've brought you? Lillian asked. Not bad. And a mystic spirit disciple, no less. Well done, little miss. Smiling, the old man clapped in satisfaction. A pity he's only just joined. He hasn't yet been tempered by mystic spirit power. Then, what do you? Don't worry. To enter our mystic spirit gate, he must be a once-in-a-thousand-years genius. New to it he may be, but I believe his future is bright. Silas Lowe stroked his beard and smiled. And I sense the aura of a craft king on him. Lad, what's your relationship to that old fellow Victor Fane? He's my teacher, Ryan answered. What? Lowe's face filled with disbelief. That old man Fane took a disciple. Now there's a strange thing. Oh, does my teacher not usually take disciples? Ryan frowned, not following. You wouldn't know. 10,000 years ago, he was indeed keen on teaching disciples. But after that incident, he never took another. That incident? What incident? Ryan's curiosity deepened. Somehow he felt this matter wasn't simple. Don't ask. When the time is right, that fellow Fane should tell you himself. Lowe waved a hand and said, but since he thinks so highly of you, it'd hardly do for me to withhold my inheritance today. We're all family, after all. Good water shouldn't flow to outsiders' fields. Lucky you, lad. With that, Lowe pressed his palms together. A strange ripple of energy rose from him, and a ball of blue energy formed in his hands. System. Ding. Accept the power of inheritance from Mystic Spirit Disassembly Master Silas Lowe. Asterisk. Accept. Ryan's gaze sharpened. Brace yourself, lad. Lowe brought the blue energy down onto Ryan's brow. Asterisk. A violent wave of dizziness surged from deep in his mind, his body swaying hard, on the verge of toppling. Just then Lillian, flustered, threw out a small hand to grip his arm and steadied him. A full 10 minutes passed before the dizziness ebbed and his clouded eyes cleared again. System. Ding. Congratulations, you have obtained the power of inheritance and mastered the Mystic Spirit Disassembly Art. Asterisk. Mystic Spirit Disassembly Art can break down all manner of gear and items into precious materials for recycling, turning waste into treasure. Asterisk. Like the forging art, the description was plain and brief, undefined by stat boxes, lending it an air of fathomless mystery. And notably, although Ryan had gained a new inherited power, his class count hadn't risen. He still held only the one Mystic Spirit Disciple class. Which meant accepting Mystic Spirit Gate inheritances took up no job slots at all. Even now, he still had 5 empty. Right. The task the sect assigned me is done. We'll meet again, lad. Having passed on his inheritance, Lo left those words behind and dissolved into a blur, vanishing without a trace. This, Ryan smiled wryly. He hadn't even had a chance to properly ask about the Mystic Spirit Gate. Why did they all leave in such a hurry? He was a Gate member now, yet he had no idea what the Mystic Spirit Gate even was, or where it stood. If anyone had ever class changed in a daze, it was him. But while he stood there blankly, the people from the surrounding stalls suddenly swarmed in and ringed him on every side, eyes glowing as if they'd spotted long-sought prey, all but drooling. Young brother, why not come take a look at our stall? Thunder Swordsman, explosively high attack bonuses, plus astonishing control effects. Change classes here and we'll throw in a free starter induction gift pack. How about it? Don't listen to him. Come our way and become a necromancer. You'll commune with the souls of the dead anytime, anywhere, even summon the mighty Bone Dragon clan to fight for you. Thunder Swordsman, at your command, a numberless army of the undead will tear him to shreds. Come to me. A holy caster can attack and heal, and many of its holy damage skills ignore defense. Come with us, and the Sanctum will arrange you the finest mentor. Don't miss it. No, you absolutely must come to me. Over here, comma. The class change mentors all bellowed at the top of their lungs, faces red, practically ready to brawl to prove whose class was the most amazing. You all, what are you doing? Ryan's mouth twitched as he watched a crowd of level 50+ big shots squabbling endlessly, his expression a little awkward. He'd only come to take a life class. How had he drawn a mob of combat class mentors? And by the look of it, if he didn't pick one of them, they weren't going to let him leave. Good heavens, what kind of world is this? Asterisk. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 27, The Wish Tree Seed. Oh, they must have seen Senior Lo pass you his inheritance, and now they're fighting tooth and nail to snatch up a peerless young genius like you. Beside him, Lillian laughed softly. Everyone knows the Mystic Spirit Gate is full of once-in-a-thousand-years talents, so how could they let go easily? Don't you think they're this ferocious? Ryan marveled inwardly, watching the mentors bicker themselves red in the face. This is only the start. Once word spreads, even more mentors will rush over to fight for your remaining class slots. Lillian smiled. You're definitely today's hot pick. No good. I need to slip away, fast. His gaze sank. If these mentors really tangled him up, it would be a mess. He had his own plans. He couldn't let this derail them. You're so strange. Anyone else, showered with offers from a crowd of mentors, would be over the moon. Only you treat it like the plague. Lillian looked at him, puzzled by his attitude. Let me put it this way. I'm a non-combat class, so I can only take life classes. No matter how fierce these people get, I'm willing but unable. Ryan shrugged helplessly. Oh, I see. I know of something that could spare you this trouble, Lillian said slowly, blinking her big eyes. You're serious? Ryan's excitement flared, and his hands seized her shoulders before he knew it. Of course I'm serious. Startled by his reaction, Lillian flushed faintly and said in a small voice, only, getting it will be very, very hard. Hard's no problem, so long as there's a way. His face lit up. The truth was, the moment he'd received Lo's inheritance, his class situation had begun to nag at him. As things stood, the single Mystic Spirit Disciple class could cover nearly all the life classes he'd want. He need only find enough Mystic Spirit Gate seniors of Fanes and Lowe's caliber willing to pass him their inheritances, and he'd have life skills aplenty. Which left his 5 remaining job slots utterly useless. That had been gnawing at him from the start. But Lillian's words rekindled his hope and showed him a turning point. "Help me, would you?" Ryan fixed her with earnest eyes, a thread of urgency in his voice. "All right." Pinned by his gaze, Lillian blushed and, after a long pause, lowered her head and agreed. "Wonderful." Overjoyed, Ryan scooped her up and spun her around several times, his excitement beyond containing. "Sorry, I got carried away just now." He let go, rubbing his nose sheepishly. It's fine." Her voice was thin as a mosquito's whine, her little face flushed pink. "Let me get you out of here first." With that, Lillian's small hand caught his arm. She murmured an incantation, and the scene around them shifted. The next instant, the two of them had vanished from the class change plaza. "Damn, where'd the kid go?" "You're asking me. Who am I supposed to ask?" "Arg. I'm losing it. A genius like that vanished right in front of me. What are you on about? Who isn't losing it right now?" The crowd of mentors, faces full of defeat, scattered like startled birds. Meanwhile, on the Heaven's Descent forums, a thread titled Dragon Blood City's class change mentors in a mad scramble over one player shot to the top, sparking wide discussion. "Anyone know who this guy is?" "Not sure. Probably a player from one of Dragon Blood City's starter villages. If that's the case, then 9 times in 10 this is Big Gun. Isn't his Sunward town right under Dragon Blood City's jurisdiction? The one above me has a point. It's got to be Big Gun. Wow. That's my idol." "PFF, your idol. Big Gun is everyone's idol." "I don't think it's Big Gun, because I don't care what you think. I care what I think, and what you think doesn't count." "Got it." The forums blazed, while the man at the center of it all was already in Lillian's boudoir within the Dragon Blood City Lord's manor. A faint floral scent reached him, and Ryan breathed it in deep, half-intoxicated. Glancing at the silent, blushing Lillian before him, his astonishment swelled. Truly, if he weren't certain the girl before him was Lillian, he'd never have believed the decisive dragon blood war goddess of his last life could wear so bashful a look. What kind of experiences could change a person's temperament so drastically? "Have you heard of the wish tree seed?" The wish tree. Ryan paused. The term had surfaced in his last life's memory, but how to use it, or where it was, he had no idea at all. The wish tree is a legendary sacred relic of the Heaven Mystic Empire. They say it can grant a person 3 wishes. Once the wishes are made, the tree withers and condenses at last into a single seed. Lillian said, "Legend holds the seed can grow into a new wish tree, but in all these years no one has managed to cultivate it, no one has even gotten it to sprout." "You mean, you want me to cultivate the seed?" "Yes. The odds are vanishingly small, but for you, it should be your only way." Ryan fell silent. His class setting had been fixed by the Heavenly Tao system from the very start, so in theory no item in the game could alter it. Surveying the whole arc of Heaven's Descent across his 5 years of last life experience, he'd never seen any item capable of changing an initial setting. The wish tree Lillian spoke of was clearly the exception, an item that granted wishes, something even the well-traveled Ryan had never laid eyes on. Maybe it really is worth a shot. Asterisk. In all honesty, gaining 5 combat classes was deeply tempting. For Ryan, who would one day face the apocalypse born of the game world and reality merging, it was a golden opportunity. 5 combat classes fused into one would mean far more than a simple stacking of jobs. And his memory held guides for many powerful hidden classes. If he could gather them all into himself, then even when the cataclysm came, he'd handle it with ease. So no matter the odds of success, this was a rare chance, because if it worked, his strength would undergo an earth-shaking leap. "Tell me, what do we have to do to get the wish tree's seed?" His gaze sharpened, full of fighting spirit. Nothing to lose, everything to gain if it worked. The choice was obvious. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 28, The Art of Fishing. "The seed is in Heaven Mystic City, capital of the Heaven Mystic Empire," Lillian said plainly. "But getting it is no easy matter." "Tell me." "First, you have to reach level 30 or higher," she explained. "On top of that, You must clear more than half of all the Hell difficulty trial dungeons in the Heaven Mystic Empire that are set below level 30. Only then do you earn the token that qualifies you to travel to Heaven Mystic City, and only after passing one final trial there do you finally obtain the seed. Ryan's mouth twitched. Half the SUB-30 trial dungeons meant clearing the trial dungeons set in over 50 Tier 3 main cities. And the crucial part, they all had to be on Hell difficulty. Each condition alone was brutal. Then again, it made sense. The Wish Tree seed had never once been successfully cultivated. It was, at the end of the day, a thing of legend. Hand it to just anyone, and you'd wait until the end of time for it to sprout. Ryan had his rich last life experience, but that didn't mean he knew every dungeon's clear strategy by heart, so this remained no small challenge. There were 4 SUB-30 trial dungeons per Tier 3 main city. By that count, just to earn the right to enter Heaven Mystic City, he'd have to conquer over 200 Hell difficulty dungeons. For him, an enormous undertaking, by any measure. Looks like it's out of reach for now. He smiled wryly. He was only level 10. Even clearing every level 10 trial dungeon across every Tier 3 main city wouldn't qualify him for Heaven Mystic City. Take this. If you ever need help with anything, come find me. Lillian handed him a pass token for the City Lord's Manor, then added, I have to keep handling things at the Class Change Plaza these next few days, so I'll have to leave you for now. It's fine, go on. But remember to come visit me. Lillian wrinkled her cute nose, her face faintly red. Don't worry, I will. Ryan smiled, marveling inwardly all the while. This girl's bashful manner was a world apart from the war goddess of his last life. Ha ha ha, my good daughter, I hear you've started bringing men home. Let your daddy have a look. Just as Ryan made to take his leave, a hearty laugh boomed from beyond the door. It swung open, and a thick-browed, burly man in violet gold war armor strode in. A killing aura rolled off him, and Ryan's brows knit slightly. Tempered by his last life, he could clearly tell, this was the unmistakable air of a man long seasoned by the battlefield. Garen Owen, current Lord of Dragon Blood City, commander of the 3,000 Dragon Blood Army, a true powerhouse. Level 50. So, girl, this the lad. Owen's gaze fixed on Ryan, sharp as a blade. A timid man would have collapsed on the spot. But Ryan was different. Under that piercing stare he stayed serene, not the slightest fear in him, and instead, his body turned slightly, unconsciously settling into a defensive counter stance. Ha! Good lad, you passed the first test. Now let's try your skill. Owen laughed, pleased. Don't fret. So you can't accuse me of bullying you, I'll use just 1/10 of my strength. With that, Owen surged forward like a thunderclap and threw a punch. Hell, I haven't said a word and he's already swinging. Ryan's face darkened. He pulled back at once to dodge, and with the 10x movement speed, slipped clean past Owen's sure-handed blow. Interesting. Rather than stop, a glint kindled in Owen's eyes. He sped up and closed in, a fist the size of a clay pot sweeping in again. Is there no end to this? Ryan frowned. Owen was a level 50 city lord. By raw strength alone, the equal of at least a level 50 amethyst boss. Even at 1/10 power, he wasn't someone Ryan could simply block. Daddy, stop, he's my friend. Lillian's face went anxious, and she dashed in to plant herself between them. You little. Owen frowned and forced his hand to a halt, shooting his daughter a displeased glare. I know full well the kid's your friend. Can't I just see whether he's got the makings? Whether he's got the makings, I decide. Lillian was all stubbornness. Do you know how many times this is? I've gone years without a single close friend, cooped up all day with you lot of big rough men, I'm sick of it. This, I'm only looking out for you. HMPH, if you really were, you'd stop attacking the friends at my side. Lillian frowned. Lad, no offense, but a grown man hiding behind a woman, what kind of look is that? Have you got the nerve to come out and fight me one-on-one? Unable to out-argue his daughter, Owen turned his aim on Ryan. His intent was simple, just to test what the kid was made of. Unlike when he'd dealt with the foppish young lord sniffing around his daughter with bad intentions, this was wholly different. This was the mystic spirit gate taking a disciple for the first time in 1,000 years. Before Master Lo left, he'd even asked Owen to look after the new mystic spirit disciple, so how could he strike to harm? At the bottom of it, he merely wanted to see what set apart this once in a thousand years mystic spirit gate genius the world spoke of. He hadn't expected his daughter to misread him. "My lord, you and I have no quarrel. There's really no need for blows," Ryan answered, perfectly calm, unstirred by the provocation. "Why fuss over it? I won't strike to harm. A friendly bout, blows pulled, and you don't dare. Or is it, you're afraid of looking foolish in front of my daughter? Don't tell me you actually fancy her. Daddy, what nonsense are you spouting?" Lillian's whole face flushed crimson. She lowered her head, though the corner of her eye stole a glance toward Ryan. "Looks like this fight won't be avoided." Ryan smiled wryly, eyeing Owen's won't quit posture with a touch of helplessness. "So be it, then we fight. Only, he didn't do losing deals. My lord, since you call it a bout, surely there ought to be a prize." Ryan's eyes narrowed slightly. "You'll fight at 1/10 strength. But if I should win by some fluke, how about you grant me a 3-story shop with a courtyard on the central plaza?" Opening a shop was one of Ryan's fastest routes to money, and property prices in-game were every bit as steep as the real world's. Pair that with the early game gold shortage, and starting your own shop was harder than scaling heaven. He had the mystic spirit token to spare him some trouble, but the steep gold cost was still beyond what he could shoulder. So why not seize this bout to fish a fortune from empty hands? No, Owen frowned and refused flatly. That would do Dragon Blood City's healthy commercial competition no good. "Oh, worried about handing over a shop before we've even fought?" Ryan smiled, turning the other's tactic back on him, goading for goading. "Don't tell me you think that, at 1/10 strength, you're bound to lose to me. If that's truly the case, then this bout needn't happen at all." Sure enough, the words sent Owen's lungs near to bursting. "Me, lose, out of the question. Fine, I accept." Owen's face sank. The corner of Ryan's mouth curled. "The fish has taken the bait at last." A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 29, an explosive finale. Still, this space is cramped, no room to stretch our limbs. Let's move to the courtyard and have our bout there. Owen's gaze sank. "What do you say?" "No problem." Ryan was secretly delighted. He'd been fretting that fighting indoors would tie his hands and keep him from giving his all, and now Owen had proposed a change of venue himself. Nothing but good news. The three left the room for the manor's courtyard, far larger than Lillian's boudoir. "But I'll say it plainly up front. Since this bout has a prize, I won't be holding back, so watch yourself. Please, teach me well." Ryan cupped his fists in salute to Owen, then turned to Lillian. "Do you have a ranged weapon, a bow or crossbow? I'd like to borrow one." Lillian nodded and produced a crossbow, handing it to him. Repeating crossbow. After one loading, fires 12 bolts in succession. Bronze grade. Attack plus 100, agility plus 20, strength plus 10. Weak point strike. Striking a weak point ignores the target's defense and deals crit damage. Equip level 10. A fine piece. Ryan nodded, satisfied, then borrowed 1,000 arrows from Lillian, each plus 30 attack, completing his pre-battle preparations. "If you're ready, I'm coming." Owen's gaze sank. He drove off in a lunging stance and shot at Ryan like a bolt of lightning. Because he used only 1/10 of his strength, his stats weren't suffocatingly strong in Ryan's eyes. Garen Owen, 1/10 strength, gold boss, level 30, HP, 500,000, stamina, 200,000, attack, 2,200, defense, 1,600, skills, unknown. Sure enough, even at 1/10 power, Owen matched a level 30 gold boss. A 500,000 HP cap, a full 300,000 more than the source of chaos avatar he'd fought in the underworld. And his attack and defense crushed that avatar utterly. Proof that even among gold bosses, the gap in strength could be vast. But Ryan didn't panic at Owen's charge. Coolly tracking his movements, he made an unexpected move, a backward leap, drawing the crossbow. The motion flowed seamlessly, practiced enough that even the battle-hardened Owen couldn't help an inward note of praise. Under the 10x movement speed bonus, Ryan's figure was swift as wind, slipping clean past Owen's assault. Volley. Thunk 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 thunk. Hiss hiss hiss. Asterisk a torrent of bolts poured out under Ryan's tenfold acceleration, falling like fine rain onto Owen's chest before he could check his force. System. Ding. Weak point strike registered. Crit damage dealt, ignoring defense. Asterisk. With the repeating crossbow equipped, Ryan's attack neared 500, and paired with the weak point strike bonus, every bolt dealt nearly 1,000 damage to Owen. In the space of a breath, all 12 struck home on weak points, dealing over 10,000 damage. At this rhythm, a few dozen more rounds would bring Owen down. But in practice, the difficulty was absurdly high. Ryan had only gained the upper hand in that first exchange because Owen had let his guard down. A battlefield veteran would never let himself fall into the same pit twice. The kid's got some skill, but only that. Owen's gaze sank. He closed in again, his clay pot fist driving at Ryan. This time, though, his movements carried a faint wariness, with room left to shift mid-strike. That alone made hitting his weak points many times harder for Ryan. That's exactly what I wanted. Ryan's gaze sharpened, the corner of his mouth lifting. If Owen had charged in heedless, it would have given Ryan a headache. Prime openings vanish in an instant, and against a frenzied assault he'd struggle to seize the lead in so fluid a fight. But now it was different. Years of combat experience made the veteran Owen instinctively want to avoid more damage, so his attacks lost their headlong drive, and the pressure on Ryan dropped sharply. Now Ryan could kite Owen endlessly with his blistering speed, harder to land weak point hits, yes, but with the combo talent stacking. So long as he stayed steady, the longer it dragged on, the higher his damage climbed, all to his advantage. Kid, quit dancing and come at me sword to sword. A minute in, Owen's face had gone dark. All that time, and he hadn't so much as brushed Ryan's hem, while the kid's attack power had quietly grown, until it began to threaten him. -601, -602, -603. Owen wanted to curse. A pity speed had never been his forte, and with his strength pinned to 1/10, catching Ryan was a pipe dream. No good. Keep this up and the kid will needle me to death. His gaze sank. His HP had dropped nearly half. He had to change something. Swish. A flash of light, and in the blink of an eye Owen donned a suit of gold gleaming war armor, a crossbow now in his hand too. Unlike Ryan's green glinting repeating crossbow, Owen's blazed dazzling gold. Damn, you can do that. Ryan paled. Owen's strength had been so suppressed that the amethyst armor Ryan wore had been stripped off for failing the level requirement, and who'd have thought the man, stymied so long, would simply don a full set of fresh gold gear. How am I supposed to play this? His gaze sharpened on Owen's stats. Under the gold set's boost, they'd surged. Garen Owen, 1/10 strength, gold boss, level 30, HP, 280,600 attack, 4,000, defense, 3,300, skills, unknown. Asterisk. And worst of all, in the gold set, Owen's movement speed had risen markedly. Kiting him as before was now wishful thinking. Hiss. In the instant Ryan froze, Owen drew and fired in one smooth motion. -3,500. Asterisk. The breath of death wrapped his heart. At the last hair's breadth, Ryan threw every ounce of himself into a sideways shift and just dodged the vital point. Even so, 3,500 damage dropped his HP to a bare 1,000. One more hit and he'd lose. No, I can't lose. Ryan roared inwardly, his eyes resolute. Miss this chance, and opening a shop would become who knew how many times harder. He had to seize this with everything he had. Conventional methods couldn't win now, so. His gaze sank to a corner of his bag. There, over 100 fire seeds lay quietly, glowing thick with light. Come, then, enjoy the explosive finale. Asterisk. Shadow Raid. Charging Wolf. Asterisk. He cast every speed skill at once, his movement surging again. A vicious glint flashed in his eyes. Both hands seized fistfuls of bronze fire seeds, and he closed in. Thorn Pierce. Countless thorns burst in from every direction, sealing off Owen's retreat in a blink. A sky full of starlight came pouring down. Over 100 bronze fire seeds, hurled straight at Owen. Feeling the rain of flame descending, Owen, briefly pinned by the thorns, paled and wrenched free, trying to pull back. Thump. But with the knockback from Shadow Raid, Ryan barred his retreat and drove a kick into him. In an instant, Owen flew in an arc, dropping into the ring of falling bronze fire seeds. Damn it, the kid set me up. Feeling the violent energy gathering around him, Owen couldn't help a curse. But whatever he said, it was far too late. In a moment of silence, the rain of fire fell, and a violent roar erupted, shaking all of Dragon Blood City 3 times over. Kaboom! A gray mushroom cloud rose slowly over the Dragon Blood City Lord's manor. The kids got some tricks. High in the boundless void, two old men stood side by side. Victor Fane gazed through the clouds at all that unfolded below, the corner of his mouth slowly curling. Seems our worries were unfounded. My thoughts exactly. Silas Lowe shrugged, in full agreement. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon. Chapter 30, The Mystic Spirit Disassembly Art. What's going on? Far off at the city's Class Change Plaza, a crowd of players stared in bewilderment at the giant mushroom cloud drifting over the distant sky, exchanging baffled looks. No idea. By the direction, it looks like the City Lord's manor. A hidden quest, maybe. Come on. Let's go take a look. If we can land a hidden quest from the City Lord's manor, we're set. The players waiting to class change surged out at once, rushing toward the manor. In the courtyard before the manor's main hall, the thick smoke slowly cleared, and a burly figure gradually emerged. Owen's gold gear was now shattered through, crack upon crack, while he himself knelt in a great pit in the ground, panting hard. Damn, that was close. A flicker of lingering fear crossed his face. Had he not lifted the seal on his power at the critical moment and crushed the bronze fire seeds beneath him with all his might, the whole manor would have been reduced to rubble under Ryan's frankly insane, indiscriminate assault. My lord, you didn't keep to the agreed 1/10 strength, you unsealed your full power. So, you've lost this bout. Ryan stepped into the deep pit, bent down, and helped the half-kneeling Owen to his feet with a smile. You, Owen frowned, then said, somewhat indignant, aren't you a touch vicious, kid? If I hadn't gone all out to suppress it at the last second, that blast just now would have been enough to kill you dozens of times over. But you were here, weren't you? So I wasn't the least bit worried. You counted on me stepping in. Naturally. With your broad-mindedness and your care for your men's lives, you'd never take such a reckless line over one little shop and let the whole manor go up in ruins. Ryan said it with calm certainty. As the lord of a city, if Owen lacked even that much resolve, he'd just have to accept his fate. One little shop. Do you know, in all of Dragon Blood City, only 2 shops meet your specifications, and one's already in use, so just one's left to sell. Do you know what that means? Owen's mouth twitched, his heart aching. It means a massive injection of capital. And now you've got me handing it over for free. I'm bleeding money on this one. Don't worry, my lord, the shop may be a gift, but I'll still pay the taxes in full, Ryan said soothingly. With my abilities, I'll have you recouped in no time. It had better be as you say. Owen said, the corner of his mouth curling. I'll set an assessment on your shop. If your monthly revenue falls short, I'll reclaim ownership. How can you do that? You said the shop was a gift. Ryan frowned, indignant. Who told me to be the lord of Dragon Blood City? You get the shop, but the rules are mine to set. Owen smirked. Seeing Ryan's slightly deflated expression, he finally felt the scales of his heart rebalance. You win, Ryan said helplessly. Still, snagging a prime, luxurious shop from empty hands was acceptable enough, assessment system and all. I'll lay it out plainly. The assessment cycle is 1 month. Since you hold a mystic spirit token, I'll take only 5% of your revenue as tax. Owen said evenly, but don't celebrate too soon. If your monthly tax doesn't reach 10,000 gold, I'll take the shop back. 10,000 gold in tax. At a 5% rate, that meant Ryan's monthly revenue had to hit 200,000 gold. And at the current gold rate, 1 to 150, by Violet's intel, he'd need to earn 30 million Azure coin a month through the shop to keep it from being shut. But pressure bred drive. With his sky-high luck, Ryan believed that if he was diligent enough, he'd pull no end of sellable gear, and 200,000 gold needn't be so daunting. Fine. Deal. His gaze sank as he agreed. HMPH, you're getting off cheap, kid. Owen snorted coldly. A shop on prime real estate, sold openly, would be worth its weight in gold. Were it not for his daughter Lillian's sake, he'd never have handed it over for nothing. After all, no contract had bound the bout beforehand, so even if he welched afterward, the kid could do nothing. A small stain on a city lord's name, perhaps, but Owen didn't much care about such things, so long as he kept the shop. Sigh. A real shame about my gear. A full gold set, and you ruined it like this. Owen looked down at his tattered armor, its golden glow 9 parts faded and dull. A city lord risen from the saddle held a special attachment to his gear, and seeing a set ruined in his hands stung. Ah, my lord, I have one small request. HMPH. If it's to have me throw in clerks to run your shop for free, save your breath. Owen arched a brow, his face unfriendly. An awkward look crossed Ryan's face, quickly hidden. Since asking for clerks was off the table, he set his sights on Owen's ruined gold gear instead. My lord, your gear's badly damaged anyway, why not give it to me? I do so admire gold equipment, to keep a set as a treasure. Take it, and here's the deed too. Now get lost. I don't want to look at you right now. Owen waved a hand impatiently, flung the deed and his broken gear at Ryan, then with another sweep sent a mighty aura wrapping the youth and ferrying him straight out the manor gate. Infuriating. Owen frowned and snorted. The thought of that kid's grinning face made his blood boil. PFF'd. Lillian, beside him, couldn't hold back her laughter. Daddy, who knew you were so adorable? Adorable, yes. The way you were just fuming, it was too adorable. Owen nearly passed out. A general famed for charging savagely across battlefields, described as adorable, surely worse than taking a blade to the body. Anyway, I'm off to help at the class change plaza. Seeing Owen about to lose his temper again, Lillian trotted off, leaving behind a string of silver bell laughter. My lord, is there anything we can help with? We're adventurers newly arrived in Dragon Blood City, command us as you please. Moments after Ryan left, the crowd from the class change plaza finally reached the manor gate, craning their necks at the silent Owen in the courtyard, jabbering and winking nonstop. Owen had wanted a quiet moment alone. This sudden mob shattering the mood made his already irritable mood erupt. Want quests, do you? Then I'll oblige. His gaze sank. A sweep of his hand sent golden light falling over the players ringing the gate. System. Ding. You have received a forced quest. Repair the city lord's manor. Time limit. 3 hours. Reward. None. Failure penalty. City lord favorability -100. Dragon Blood City prices +50%. Asterisk. Hell. What kind of quest is this? Screwed. Hosed by the system this time. What are you standing around for? Get to it. If we can't finish in time, we're done in Dragon Blood City. Damn it. My luck's rotten. Hosed the moment I show up. I at %7. One player, livid at his misfortune, spat a stream of foul language and shot Owen a hostile glare. System. Ding. Your verbal abuse has enraged City Lord Garen Owen. Quest forcibly failed. Owen favorability -100. Dragon Blood City prices +50. Asterisk. The cursing player, hearing the prompt in his ears, slumped to the ground, all will to live gone. The crowd around him promptly shut their mouths and set to work, not daring another word. But while the players were press-ganged into free labor by Owen, the instigator of it all had already arrived, all smiles, at his own shop. He set the broken gear he'd wheedled from Owen on a table, anticipation thick on his face. Mystic Spirit Disassembly Art can break down all manner of gear and items into precious materials for recycling, turning waste into treasure. Asterisk. He'd only gotten the skill a short while ago, now was the perfect time to test it. Ryan laid a hand on the most badly damaged cuirass. System. Ding. Use the Mystic Spirit Disassembly Art. Asterisk. Yes. Asterisk. Whoosh. Asterisk. As he cast the skill, a dazzling golden light rose from the cuirass beneath his hand. System. Ding. Disassembly successful. Please review. Asterisk. The whole process took a dozen odd seconds before the prompt sounded again. Ryan stared in disbelief at what the disassembly had yielded, shock thick on his face. This skill is downright filthy. It can do this. Asterisk. A note from Crazy Mocha. The latest chapter can be read on Patreon.